Good morning. This is Anna T. Bellum for the Abolition News Network, January 15, 1833. Today we have a spokeswoman for the Cherokee Indian Nation to speak with us and answer the questions of why Southern planters went to Africa looking for a better labor source instead of using the very plentiful wild Indians in their own backyard of Georgia. We welcome Ghigau.
Hello.
Welcome.
Well, Miss Bellum, I have to interrupt you as referring to us as wild Indians. We are no more wild than you. What I belong to is the Cherokee Nation. Just last year, in the Supreme Court case of Worcester versus Georgia, it was affirmed that we were under the protection of the federal government. Your Chief Justice John Marshall wrote stating that he believed that our nation was a distinct political unit with the right to administer its own affairs.
Ouch! I'm really sorry for calling you a wild Indian.
Thank you. I only get wild when my husband makes me mad.
Yes, let's first go back to the 18th century, before the U.S. was a nation. Colonists looked to Africa for slaves. Why do you think that was?
Miss Bellum, I'll give you my best guess. There are two big reasons and several small ones. In the 16 and 1700s, when the European colonists first came to America, they brought unknown diseases that we had never been in contact with. The flu, smallpox, tuberculosis, and typhoid fever, and so forth. The second reason is this is our native landscape. We could all run off and find hiding places with our fellow Indians, who would, of course, help us.
I see. But regarding your second reason, what if they put you in chains?
Really? Well, I would like to enlighten you a little bit about the spirit regarding the Native American. That's us. We may look unassuming at first, but I am not like Pocahontas. Deep inside, we each have a fighting spirit, each of us like 100 men. You cannot take that type of spirit away from a man like that. For example, would you use wolves to pull a dog sled across a frozen river? They'd run in all directions. Cherokees don't take orders from outsiders.
Wow, that sounds tough. But aren't the Africans the same also?
No. We, the Cherokee Nation, as others, live in tribal groups. We can put aside our differences and form together and make a united front. But the settlers knew that if they tried to offend our sensibilities by enslaving us, then we would all unite against them.
But the African doesn't or can't do that?
No, the Africans were probably confused and disoriented when taken captive by raiders and that came from many different regions and spoke many different languages and put on ports to be on slave ships.
But
Additionally, you can't enslave a man living in his own native landscape. They can run away and make a living hunting or growing maize. That's corn to you. We are too attached to freedom for anyone to take it away from us. The Africans running away from Georgia or South Carolina would be clueless on how to feed themselves in the forests and prairies of North America.
all right, but there were some American Indian slaves years ago in the 18th century in the South, isn't that right?
Yes, of course, but we'd rather forget that history. From about 1670 to 715, slave traders sold between 24,000 to 51,000 American Indians to the sugar plantations in the Caribbean, but most of them died off because they weren't used to the climate. The Charleston became the center of the Cherokee Nation. I'll show you on this chart.
But somewhere along the line, the Southern planters went to Africa to shop. What's the main reason, you think?
Because for some reason they were more resilient to diseases. And one more thing, I hate to boast, but some of the colonies were afraid that as indigenous natives could inspire wars. We were dangerous to them and we might antagonize certain tribes from which we came. Massachusetts, Connecticut, and Rhode Island strictly prohibited us from importing us for that reason.
Well, Ghigau, I don't know what to say. You are a proud people. and you stay united together as a nation within the United States under protection from the Supreme Court.
But your President Andrew Jackson doesn't like us. He's threatening to send us to Oklahoma and give away our lands.
Wow, I really hope he doesn't do that. You've been lucky so far in keeping away from slavery, laws, and conflicts in this country. Good luck to you in the future. This is Anna T. Bellum saying good morning.
During the forced migration in 1838, known as the Trail of Tears, 13,000 civilized Cherokees were uprooted in Georgia from their lands as per President Andrew Jackson Removal of Indians Act, and made to walk or ride in wagons to Oklahoma. 4,000 died along the way from lack of food, exhaustion, or exposure to the cold, including Ghigau, which means war woman, who appeared as a visitor on ANN in 1833.